Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So we've got a little bit of a project here on the urban homestead today. I'm going to show you what it is, but I've got to put it down first. Obviously it's morning. Morning's really the best time for me to film overall. Living in a very closely situated neighborhood. I have to be careful of other people and children because I'm one of those. If somebody doesn't want to be on my channel, then they don't need to be on my channel, right? Okay, I got that. I got some coffee. I have a garden bed. I think we're just about good to go. Minus my hoary. Let me tell you, I leave everything everywhere and then I have to go and hunt it down. I keep telling myself I'll be more organized out here one day. I don't know when one day is, but I'll let you know when I reach it. All right. So we are over here at what was the green bean bed. Now we have already completely cleared everything out. I've gone in and I've amended soil, and it's not as bad as I was anticipating, but to be fair, I did end up amending this bed a bit more with worm casting tea than I did the herb bed. And that was probably my saving grace, because trying to turn that herb bed over was a lot of brutal work, I'm not gonna lie. But one problem that we are encountering, or that I in particular am encountering, is with having expanded to this point, we are having... I'm spending about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending upon the heat level, watering. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but an hour and a half, 2 hours could be put to maintaining like some of the wildness. Let me show you. Haha! The tomatillos have made a mad dash for, yeah, the mulch. So, you know, when you're basically a 1 or 2 person team and you've got a lot going on, you need to be able to do things as efficiently as possible with the least amount of cost and waiting for truck. Okay. With the least amount of cost, and of course that is going to really benefit your garden bed. That leads me to this. Da-da-da! Okay, so you're probably wondering why a flower pot is a big deal. It really isn't a big deal. But what I did to the flower pot is, so we have a putty paste that I put into the hole. No, it's not perfect. No, it's not flush. No, it doesn't need to be any of those things. So the main thing is to plug the hole. I did that last night and then let it dry, because it needs 4 to 6 hours to dry according to the instructions, so I just left it overnight. Went on ahead and filled it with some water, and it's holding on to water, but as you can see, the outside is becoming moist, which is exactly what I want to happen. So what we're going to do is we are going to bury this 10-inch, and this is a 10-inch, you could use an 8-inch if you want to, but I got a 10-inch for this bed. So this bed is about 4 foot inside by about just slightly over 2.5 foot in depth. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to submerge this in the soil up to here, and that's where we're going to fill the rest of this with water. And as you can see, terracotta is a porous material. Love terracotta. And what it will do is it will water deeper into the bed than just like top watering would. So eventually this bed will become perfectly moist, and once it becomes perfectly moist, it's not going to take anything out of this terracotta pot. That being said, I'm sure it's going to take at least 3 days for this bed to be appropriately moist down below, because we're looking at quite a few inches here. That's probably a depth of 5 inches. So it's going to be going down a lot deeper, which when we're amending soil, that's really what we want. We want to get that moisture down below so that the soil doesn't end up hydrophobic, and so that the good bacteria and microorganisms that I've put into this bed can and will come back to life, because they can't live without moisture as well as oxygen. So this is an experiment, all right? Preface that, it is an experiment for us. We've not done this method before. But I'm very, very hopeful. It's also fairly inexpensive. The most expensive part was getting the putty, but that jar of putty is gonna probably do another 4 or 5 of these. Now for our long beds, we'll need 2 in each of these longer beds. But I'm okay with that, especially if this is something that can save us time, and it's supposed to help conserve water. So time, money, and then expense, because drip hoses, they're not cheap, okay? So keep that in mind. But let's go on ahead and get this guy in and get it positioned and filled with water, and we will start seeing what happens, okay? I'm gonna put you on hyperlapse for this part. Okay, so now that we've got that part done, show you what I'm going to do. Because the other thing that I do not want happening is I don't want any bugs or critters falling in. So, ergo, this guy. Now, I'm probably going to upgrade that eventually. That's just what was available at our big box store. But at some point, it will probably be terracotta. I have this little piece of brick here to set in the middle. And that is going to act like a mini bug bath, so to speak. So all of the butterflies, the bees will have a place to come and get water. They've got a little stone to sit on and climb down towards the water that's going to make them feel safe. And it's also going to deter slugs and snails from getting into the pot down below, because I do not want bugs in that pot, because their likelihood of getting out is going to be nil. Okay, so this is what I have used. It's made in the US. It's also supposed to form to whatever you're putting it in, and it is a little bit thicker, a little bit more rubbery than other putties that I've worked with. It was actually kind of challenging to work with it because I have never handled anything quite goopy like that, but it worked well, or is working well as of right now. So we've got 2 more pots to place for this experiment, and I'm really crossing my fingers that this ends up working out for us, because man, if it saves on water and time for me in the mornings, I am all for it because we're getting into the point where harvest is competing for my attention. But let me go on ahead and put you on hyperlapse here so I can get these other two done and you can see what that looks like. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. I did kind of position that in the middle of the bed just to make sure it would wick to both ends. I'm sure you could probably put it at one end if you wanted to, and it would be fine. I have no idea. Like I said, it's an experiment, so I'll just have to let you know. But let me go on ahead and put you on hyperlapse. See if I can't find a place to put this bad boy, okay? Let's go. Oh, I figured out the secret to having coffee in the garden in a mug. Put milk with it and the bugs will leave it alone. Go figure. I just did that for a little extra, something special on the weekend. It's not my normal, but I'm very happy with this. I really hope this ends up working. It is... okay, it's a little bit more expensive than it used to be, obviously. And I did get these terracotta pots at our big box store. Now, one thing that I will say about terracotta, which if you haven't bought terracotta, you probably should know. Macy, put your flag down. Thank you. There's a siren going off, so. Anyway, so the thing that you need to know about terracotta is that not all terracotta are made equal. I hate to say this, but if the terracotta is coming out of China, it has not been fired correctly. If you have terracotta that is just sort of crumbling on the outside, cracking, that's a sign and an indicator, especially if you just got the terracotta, that it was not correctly heated, processed, in the kilns. So make sure where they're coming from. These guys are USA made. We have others that are from Spain and Mexico, and I think we have one that said Portugal on it. So terracotta is a very big thing. All of those places know their terracotta and have been doing it for a few centuries. So I trust them actually more than even the USA one here. But just so that you're aware, if you've had terracotta crumbling, look at where it was made, because that is probably going to be the culprit for you. But I'm hoping these last. I'm praying that these stand up over winter too. Obviously, the seal that I got has held up beautifully. I put water in them and let it sit in there for about half hour, 45 minutes ish, somewhere in there. And it didn't leak out where I did the patch job. It was definitely starting to wick into the terracotta, which is a good thing. It should be doing that so that it can wick out of the terracotta and then wick into the soil. Now, I did go on ahead and water the surrounding areas. I need to go back over to that bed and do the same thing with that bed. That's just to help the soil start to pull and do that wicking motion. Or, well, yeah, I guess it is kind of a motion if you look at it scientifically, but the soil will start to pull all of that moisture out of the terracotta pot. And I think, supposedly, we're supposed to have some rain. Supposedly. So I'm going to probably take off the little caps that I've got on them with the water and the rocks and such. And I think I may try and catch rainwater in these guys. We have on our hose a new filtration device to help filter out a lot of the chemicals in our water, because we're on city water and the reports are just, they're getting worser and worser, as you know. So I have that there, but catching rainwater, there's something about rainwater that is different for the garden. Garden just responds to rainwater, which is actually higher in nutrient factor than our water systems. But that's the only thing that I can think would be making the difference with the rainwater. And then we do have our rain catchment barrel system. We need to get that adjusted. And once we do, we'll be working out here off of that. So that will be lovely. But as of right now, this is all I've got for you. So I'm going to go on ahead and sign off. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Okay, guys, please subscribe to the channel. That actually helps more, and it's completely free to you. So subscribe, like, share, you know, all the feels. And I will see you on the next one, and I will definitely be giving you an update on how these pots are doing compared to our drip line, okay? So, as always, keep it simple, natural, and essential. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.